Another video. Here this time to show you the top 10 loadouts that you could be using in Call of Duty Warzone Season 3. These loadouts are all amazing and work just as well as every other guns, and usually better. Without any further ado, let's get into the loadouts. So the first loadout you're going to want to be using is the Growl and the MP5. Now, for the Growl, you're going to want to put the monolithic suppressor on it for the muzzle. This is a great attachment. It gives you damage range and sound suppression. Perfect. Gets you quiet and lets you hit harder. Next thing you want is the Tempest 26.4 Archanger barrel. It gives you a great iron sight so you don't have to use an optic. Plus it gives you damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. Next you're going to want the tac laser for good aim down sight. The munitions is your choice between 50 and 60. I personally use the 50 when I'm playing with trios and duos, but if I'm playing with a squad, I use the 60 round mag. Next, you do the Commando foregrip just because it doesn't have any aim down sight penalties. Next, you're going to want to customize your MP5 with the barrel, not the muzzle, but the barrel using the monolithic integral suppressor. Then you're going to throw a Merc foregrip on, the 45 round mags, the 5MW laser, and the F-Tac collapsible stock. This is a great loadout. The MP5 is super mobile. Plus, they both keep you off radar and do tons of damage. Next, it's my Modern Warfare AUG and Card ID8 loadout. Now, this is a little weird. It's kind of different, but it's still great. For the AUG, you're going to want to throw on the monolithic suppressor, the 407 extended barrel, not the 622, because that destroys your aim down sight and movement. This doesn't do that as much. Next thing you're going to want to do is throw on the NATO 30 round mag 5.56. I personally use the all rut camo, it's just great. Next, you have a choice between the stipple grip tape or the sleight of hand. I prefer the sleight of hand just so you get that easier mag capacity. So that sleight of hand on there. And next, the Force Tac QCB comb gives you aim down sight speed. Perfect. Great AUG. Shreds close to mid-range. It's great. Next, you're going to want to use the Card ID8. And I don't use a suppressor for this loadout because the Card ID8 can still do well without a suppressor. So you're going to want the 25.1 since this is not going to be as long of a range of Card ID8. Then you're going to throw the tac laser on there. Not the variable zoom, but the sniper scope. I use the black tie fair one. And then for the stock, you can use the F-Tac Sport Comb or ST-Vault Precision Comb. I personally prefer the F-Tac right now. And I also do stipple grip tape, so it goes aimed outside very fast. Make sure to put a custom reticle on. I like the one breath of this build. Works pretty well. Next loadout you're going to be wanting to use is the Krieg Mac 10. Now, the Mac 10 was nerfed, but it's still great. And the Krieg was buffed, and I've used it a good amount of times. It works like a champ. So for the Krieg, you're going to want to throw the agency silencer on there, or suppressor is what it's called. Then for the barrel, you're going to want the 19.7 Ranger for that bullet velocity. No foregrip. This thing controls foregrips very well, or recoil. Then you're going to want the 45 round mag, the stock, the SAS combat stock. And for the optic, the actual arms 3 times. The reticle is up to you, but I personally like the Hunter with this gun. Great build for the Krieg. Works like a charm at ranges. Now, for the second weapon, the Gallantry Blueprint for the Mac 10. This increases its iron sight since it's the Gallantry Blueprint. You're going to want the agency suppressor. It's like the monolithic suppressor. For Cold War, you want it. And then for the barrel, 5.9 Task Force. The foregrip, field agent grip. The mag, 53 round drum. And the stock, you're going to want the SAS combat stock. That's your Mac 10. Works great. Performs very well still after the nerf. Next is the Kilo. Now, the Kilo was nerfed a while ago, but it's still very viable. So you're going to want the monolithic suppressor on it, the 19.8 Prowler barrel, the Commando foregrip, the 50 or the 60. It's your choice again, whether you're playing trios or squads, duos or solos. And then you're not going to want a stock. You're going to want a Corp Combat Hollow Sight with the blue dot. You can put the VLK, but I personally prefer the Corp Combat with blue dot. Next, you're going to want the KSP-45. It works really well, even though it's not very meta. Most people haven't used it and seen it. It works like a charm. You're going to want to throw the agency suppressor on there, the front grip, or the field agent, the 42 round mag, the speed tape or the best grip you've got, and then the 8.9 extended barrel. This works like a champ. It shreds. It's like a 2 to like 3 bursts. It's great. Next, you're gonna want a CR56. You're gonna throw the monolithic suppressor on there. It works like a charm again. The Zodiac suppressor, the Zodiac barrel XRK, then the Commando foregrip, the 45 round mag, and the VLK optic with the T-pose reticle. Once you've done that, it also compares with the Mac 10, which is the same Mac 10 from earlier, Agency, 5.9 Task Force, Field Agent Grip, 53 round drum, and the SAS Combat Stock. Next, I have an Mp7 Ax50. Now, this is something I would use a really long time ago, but it still works great. You're going to want to throw the monolithic suppressor on there, the FSS Recon barrel. You can choose between the Commando and Merc. I kind of like the Merc a little more. Helps you at that close range if you need to hip fire. 60 round mags, so you can throw a little extra ammo around since this needs more shots to kill at a longer range. And then no barrel, just stipple grip tape. Make sure to use the either the Trigger build, the Trigger blueprint, or the Piercer blueprint. Those will really work really well and improve the iron sights. Next, you're going to want the X50. You're going to throw that monolithic suppressor on there. The 32.0 factory barrel lets you hit shots from very long range. You can do the tack laser. You might not want to. It's up to you. I don't personally use an optic. I use the Sigard Arms Assassin and a stippled grip tape. If I'm playing in squads, I'll switch to stippled for like a 7 round or a 9 round mag. Alright, so that's that loadout. Next loadout is the Xm4 Mac 10. Now, the Xm4, I used to use it at the beginning of the Cold War integration. It rocks pretty well, but it doesn't outperform. This still could do really well in a lot of situations. So, we're going to throw the agency silencer or suppressor on. Then the 13.5 task force for that strafe speed and all the other goods. The field agent grip for easy control. Then you're going to want to put the 45 round mag. If you're playing squads, do the 60. But it can be a little risky doing the 60 with your aim down sight. Next, you have a choice between the Raider and the SAS Combat Stock. I personally like the SAS Combat Stock. It lets you look around in buildings easier. You can peek around a corner. Same Mac 10 build for earlier. You want the Agency Suppressor, the 5.9 Task Force, the Field Agent Grip, the Static 53 round drum, and the SAS Combat Stock. That Mac 10 still works like a charm and all the other loads. Now, this is a bit of a weird loadout because we're not using like the car or anything. We're using the SPR. Now, the SPR is a great sniper rifle, and the Ram7 is like the best. Not literally, but it competes with the old Fafar when it was like first added. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take the monolithic suppressor, slap that right on that baby like all the other Modern Warfare guns. Next, the FSS Ranger gives you damage range, full velocity, and recoil control. You're not going to put a laser on it. And you can do iron sights. They're not great, but Corp Combat, VOK, choose one, and then do this. I personally don't like the VOK. It's too much zoom for this gun. This is a little bulky. You're going to want the 50 round mag. Those 30 rounds are not enough. Like, you can do it in solos with 30 rounds, but you can barely do it. You can put down a lot of hate with this gun. Next, you're going to throw on the Commander foregrip. That's the Ram7. Perfect, great, beautiful. Next, you're going to want to throw on the SPR. You're going to want the monolithic suppressor, this SPR 26-inch barrel, the Lapua mag, the Blitz, and then I just do the Solo Zero SPR 28mm. Next is our final class. It's the Rpd Dmr. They're not that great, but they're still pretty good. You're going to want the crew suppressor on this. No barrel. You're going to want to throw no sight. KGB skeletal stock. 120 round mag. Foregrip or field agent, your choice. I personally do the drop shot wrap for that flinch resistance. And then the DMR. Agency silencer. 20.8 task force barrel. The field agent grip, no mag, the SAS Combat Stock, and the Axial Arms 3 times with the Precision Reticle. Those are my 9 loadouts. My last loadout is a riot shield with a pistol.